Hey, Gabriel,
Hey, Gaybros.
where are we today?
Let me just say I'm in San Francisco and the weather is 75 degrees.
Okay, I'm in Chicago and it's 10 Celsius. I don't know what is in this kind of made up units that you guys have. I mean, all
Less than
units, yeah,
20, something like that.
probably negative 20. Yeah, it's 15 right now.
Oh, that's chilly.
No, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Like this week has been like this pretty nice. Is the what?
Unacceptable. My chihuahua is not into that temperature.
Okay, I'm pretty sure that your Chihuahua could survive this temperature. But what did we watch today?
This was my pick, and we picked a movie that is in, well, I picked a movie that is currently in theaters called Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, starring Michelle, I'm sure I'm pronouncing this wrong, but Yeoh, by Dan Kwan and Daniel Scheinert.
Yeah, I always feel like pretty weird when they are like two directors to a movie. You know?
Even the Wachowski sisters?
Yeah, I always feel, or the Coen brothers, I always feel about like what is exactly the separation of responsibilities that you guys have? How has been like the creative process here?
Do you think it's like a committee sort of decisions, or do you think I know we don't know, this is supposition, or do you think they're like, hey, you're in charge of scenes 1 through 28 and I'll do 21 through 40?
No, it has to be committed, because otherwise it's like the total of the movie. It will feel like two movies glued together. And most of these movies, for better or worse, like the Wachowski sisters movies, the Coen brother movies, and this one, they feel more cohesive than, hey, I actually should have like outsource like half of the movie to someone else.
By the way, just trivia, that The Matrix Resurrection was only directed by Lana.
Yeah.
I don't think I really realized that until a few weeks ago. Interesting.
Yeah. I think that I was also like a bit surprised. I don't know when was the last time that Bottle Ten directed something.
Probably that.
Cloud Atlas? No, there was something after Cloud Atlas.
One with Tom Cruise that takes place there's like 5 or 6 different stories that take place in different times.
Cloud Atlas.
Cloud Atlas.
Yeah, that I think that they actually participated. Didn't they directed it with Tom Tickwer?
Really? Maybe he wrote the script.
I don't remember. No, Jupiter Ascending was after that. Jupiter Ascending was.
That doesn't count as a movie.
Well, it was shown on the theater, so. Oh my god, they also did a Speed Racer. I had forgotten about that.
Wow. Just wow.
Cloud Atlas 2012, Jupiter Ascending 2015, Sense8, and The Matrix Resurrection. Cloud Atlas. Sorry, no, I had.
Where's the director? 3
Yep.
directors.
Yep. 3 directors. Why not?
No wonder it was a mess. But also, I read the book long before the film came out, and it was also a mess, even though people loved it.
Well, yeah. But I mean, the thing is, like, after you do a movie of a mess, is that people are more aware of what a mess that was, because most people don't read. So.
And you don't have the 15 hours to dedicate to a movie what it takes to read the book.
Yeah, no, that's true. So as this was your pick, I guess that I have to summarize what this movie is about.
Sure do it. Good luck.
But first, why did you pick it again?
So my husband wanted to see this movie, and I remember when this trailer was playing before like every movie for months, and I remember saying many times to my husband, this is either going to be like exceptional or really bad. So I was curious to see it. You had mentioned you wanted to see it. I had already had plans to see it, so we just decided to.
Did I say that I wanted to see it?
Well, I gave you the choice between this and another movie last week, and you chose this. I mean, technically it was my pick, but.
Yeah, I don't remember what was like the other one, but I said, sure, this can be at least entertaining. I don't think that it's going to be like nice. Yeah, and Mass I wanted to see it too, but this being on the cinema, I thought it would be interesting to watch it, and probably would be like more uplifting after watching the hours. So,
Yes.
so short summary, as this is still on the cinemas, I'm not going to go into too much detail, but the story follows Michelle Yeoh, that she's the mother of a small Chinese family that they own a laundromat, and they are being audited by the IRS. Her family, sorry, it looks like her family is a bit in shambles. They live with her parents, her husband, and her daughter moved out after she went to college, I think, and now they only see her like from time to time. And kudos to that actress. I'm like super curious to see where it goes because she's like the one that plays May in Marvelous Miss Maisel. I don't know if you have seen her. She's on the third season onwards.
I have not seen season 3, but she was so good in this movie that I was like, I want to see stuff that she's doing.
Yeah, no, I'm super curious to see like if her career actually just takes off. You know, because at least in the two roles that I know her from, it's a bit more like, okay, you are playing this role because you're Asian and we need an Asian person, you know. I'm looking forward to actually having like roles that is like, hey, any race could be in here, and it's like we just pick her because she is a good actress. But yeah, I found her like the best part of the movie.
More than Michelle?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay, keep going with yourself.
So basically, she started like getting a bit into stress, and now the sci-fi part, sci-fi comedy action starts, where his husband mind gets occupied by another version from another dimension, from another alternative reality, and they tell them that it's
important that we call out that the family is together, but the relationships between all of them are incredibly strained.
Yeah, oh, that's true. Yeah. So basically, the father, well, the Michelle has like some kind of grudge against the father. The husband, well, more than grudge, is like whatever, you know, is like I'm not exactly happy with how he treats me. The husband is about to just ask for divorce from her, and the daughter is like just a bit more, almost like a teenager, like a too old teenager about like, I hate everything, and you guys are at fault. And maybe she's not wrong, you know, but in any case, that's the situation.
Lesbian, which in a family that immigrated from China is
not too acceptable. Yeah. But yeah, don't want to dig too deeper, but basically the leitmotif of the movie is that there is like an event that is happening across all alternative dimensions and is like supposedly collapsing everything into nothingness. So we don't know who is the person that is like driving this or anything, but there is a way of connecting your mind to alternative versions of yourself and just learning what they can do. So from that point on, after Michelle talks with the alternative dimension husband, that they are not married in that dimension, is that she starts jumping to other dimensions for just fighting like bad people that they're coming after her, because she's supposed to be like a key aspect for defeating this John Bark or whatever it's called.
Yeah, I can't remember the name. I liked the name.
Yeah,
it's like Jobaki.
John Baki. Yeah, something that they're like pretty made up, I think. So Michelle Yeoh, as far as I know, I should have actually checked this, but I think that she has like a very strong background in action movies for a very long time. Yeah, she was in Crouching Tiger, hitting right now.
Wasn't she also in Hero?
In sorry, what?
Wasn't she also in Hero, or was she just in Crouching Tiger?
Let me just see.
But yeah, she does.
Yeah.
She's done at least a few martial arts films where she's pretty freaking believable.
Yeah. And she started her career like in the 80s, you know. And she has been active like basically since then. So it's pretty clear that that's one of her strengths. And the acting is like pretty good. I don't want to keep away like most of this stuff, you know, like it happens in between. I would just say that towards the end, the movie takes a bit of a step back. It does like a lot of comedy. We would just talk in a second, you know, about like the quality of the comedy. But then the last part of the movie, the last third of the movie, it actually just shifts a lot from action and sci-fi the elements are still there, but it focus like way more into family dynamics and a bit more about like how instead of just fighting with grumpiness, and violence, how like kindness and understanding can actually just get a, like way farther. It's not like a new message or anything like that. I just feel it's like this like a feel good kind of movie. The only way is like the elements used for that are different.
Actually, I think after we stopped recording last week's podcast, we started to talk a little bit about this film, and you said something like, "I'm not sure what message it will have, but," and I said, "Obviously, she finds inner strength and
was always insane.
That she has self-worth, which is the message that the film has."
Well, it's more like instead of actually your self-worth, it's a more like understanding everyone else's self-worth and respecting them for who they are,
Yeah.
So I could. Is this like a good summary? It's like we may give away like something from this point on. I'm going to be like just summarizing. I had to say like when the movie ended, I was like, I really like this. And then I kept like thinking more and more about it, and it just dissipated for different reasons. I will let you, to know in a moment. Could you say, let's just go over like a single question, and then we can just give like a disclaimer. From this point on, we may go crazy into talking about anything. But would you recommend it?
I've recommended it to many, many, many people already. When I say many people, it's to my mother.
I feel like mind blown about like, you started like a new job, and it was like basically your presentation card is like, Blake, tell us something about you. I just watch everything everywhere and the same all at once. Is that you guys should go watch it. Otherwise,
I actually
not
did
gonna
recommend it to a couple coworkers,
Okay.
which is crazy because I just met them. I started a new job 2 days ago, really, Monday.
Oh,
Today's Wednesday. And yeah, I told some people to watch it.
no, that's cool. That's cool. I haven't told anyone, but it's true that actually several people told me is that, hey, do you want to watch this movie with me? Or, hey, I went to watch this movie the other day and I thought about you. I don't know why they thought about me, but they thought about me.
The answer is because it's a great film, and they thought of you.
Okay, so you would recommend it. I would recommend it to a specific people. I think that in the mixture of the genres, it's good for people around our age and younger, but for someone older, they're going to feel like, or you do a sci-fi comedy that you can have like just fights and whatever, or you do like a family drama.
Wouldn't you? So something we haven't mentioned yet is that this film, in my opinion, is basically a love story to about a million other films, and it knows it's like they have scenes that are ripped straight from one.
Wait a second. Before you actually say like that, is that let's just say like from this point we may actually spoil like parts of the movie. So if people want to actually stop here, that would be like a good time because it's more or less recent.
But there are films that come from The Matrix to Wong Kar-wai's In the Mood for Love.
Ratatouille.
But like they're all great films. Like it was so fun watching for these Easter eggs, and then like the second the Wong Kar-wai scene came up, Pablo and I, my husband and I looked at each other and we're like, oh, it's In the Mood for Love, and we came home and watched that scene on YouTube, and it's just like so lovingly recreated.
Which one? Which scene was it?
So there. Okay, spoiler alert again. Just one more warning. She jumps into a multiverse where she never married her husband, and she becomes an incredibly movie star, martial arts movie star. And she goes to a movie premiere,
and
she's the guy. And after the premiere, they go out into the streets of, I'm guessing, Hong Kong, and they have a cigarette and talk about their missed relationship in the rain. And that exact scene happens in The Mood for Love, and it's just like every scene you're like, oh, I see this movie, I see this movie, I see this movie.
No, that's true. But at the same time, and I think that this may be like the big difference, I felt like some of the stuff is fine, like that homage, but at the same time, there is like ton of campiness, ton of stupid jokes that they are at the level of a scary movie. A scary movie, the movie. Don't tell me no.
No, there was not a single joke that was as dumb as Scary Movie. Scary
So
Movie is like,
when they start fighting because they want to just, because spoiler alert again, is like the way of actually just connecting with their souls from other direction, from other dimensions, is just doing like something random that doesn't make any kind of sense. And one of the things that they actually do is like in a scene they start fighting because the bad guys, for just connecting to other dimension, they have to just get a bad plan, like using a bad plan, and they start fighting about that.
so I will agree with you that there are some like kind of lowbrow crass jokes.
What
But-
about the hot dogs, the sausages?
Come on, that was funny.
It was funny like the first time, but when you actually just keep like exploiting it, even like the scene where she starts playing Claire de Lune, I think, it was like at this point of the movie, like making this joke, it's like, I don't know.
So I think the butt plug joke works because Jamie Lee Curtis plays a truly just
Amazing.
grotesque, it's like a Fellini, like a lowbrow Fellini character. She's an IRS auditor, and the family is having to deal with her over and over.
And in different dimensions, yeah.
And well, I just mean in the original universe where they're getting audited and she's their auditor and they're trying to work with her and she's nasty, and Michelle's character thinks that she is the only one in control that can do anything when really it's the husband who's kind and like taking care of things and making things work. But there's this hilarious moment where she points back to this row of awards she got for like auditor of the year or auditor of the month or something, but the award is a butt plug. And later that comes into play, and come on, that's
Is that funny?
It's
No,
better
come on,
than
no.
Scary. If you're not careful, I will pick Scary Movie as my next pick, and you
Just
will tell
do
me.
it. No, and just do it, and I will tell you that is like, I'm not saying that the whole thing is stupid, I'm just saying that they are like part of the jokes that is like, dude, the whole cinema was like just laughing out loud, and I was like, and I was like looking at my boyfriend, and he was like, that was not funny. I mean, it's true that I actually laughed out loud like a couple of times, that I felt it's like, okay, that was cute, like some of the jokes. But some of the parts I just felt is like, look, this is for a different audience, it's a bit more of random stupid jokes. And then is the reason why I had like such a hard time saying like, would I recommend it? Because like that people is like, I felt like super moved in the last third act. I feel it's like, this is well made. It's like, actually the acting is pretty good. The script is okay. It's nothing that I haven't seen, in any other movie. It's a heartfelt kind of a story, but they're using it fine. I like when they're like just jumping through different dimensions and just trying to convince, won't say anything else, about not doing something, about like not giving up. And I feel it's like, that's sweet how you actually have been like setting this up for the whole movie, for this scene. But the comedy,
I was also very moved at the end, and I admired how they went from like, there was never like ultra gore or violence, but there is violence that's fairly like shocking. So they had like the shock of the violence. They had sometimes like intelligent humor, sometimes crass humor, and then it ended up being like a heartwarming tale about how a family kind of
comes together. Yeah.
And it's interesting because this weekend I saw a movie by a director whose name I can't pronounce. It's the Thai director that won the Palme d'Or in 2010 for Uncle Boonmi, who can recall his past lives. This is his first film in English. It stars Tilda Swinton, even though it takes place in Colombia. My husband said, by the way, Tilda Swinton's Spanish is like impeccable.
A pitched pong with a setakul.
Thank you for the attempt.
Yeah, that was not the right way, definitely.
So this was a very highbrow film that I, to be honest, understood very little. I could appreciate the poetry of what I was seeing on screen, but I walked away saying I didn't feel anything in this film. So I like that you brought up how moved you were in the final third of this film, because I was also very moved. And even though the messages have been told many times in different ways, this felt like an original way to arrive at these same conclusions and to really get the audience to both emote and empathize with the characters on the screen. I just thought, like, you took me on this journey, you made me laugh, you took me on a sci-fi, journey through the multiverse, and it was, in my opinion, a very compelling movie. Like, it didn't feel like, I don't know how long it is because I never checked my clock.
2 hours and 20 minutes, because my boyfriend checked the clock like at least 5 times during the movie.
I didn't, and I definitely checked my watch in that Memoria is the name of the Tilda Swinton movie. And I call it the Tilda Swinton movie because I'm not going to try and pronounce that director's name.
I will say that I was not engaged by it. For me, it was like a bit long, and it's again because it starts at some tone and then it goes to a complete different one. It starts a bit more like it's going to be like a family drama, but that it's not, that it's going to be like an action movie, and it takes like 20 minutes until everything starts, and then it takes like an hour and 40 minutes until everything has unraveled and you get like the conclusion, the 30 minutes. I think that your enjoyment of this film could actually varies depending on how much enjoyment you can get from that hour and a half in the middle. A lot. Because, for example, my parents could get 0 from that. They can actually just see like my parents. That's the reason why I was telling you, older people, they're not going to be like connecting with this. They're going to say like, this is dumb. This is like the dumbest thing.
Older person.
The what?
What for you as an older person?
I would say older than us, so probably like a 50-year-old.
Well, my husband loved it.
Okay.
He left the theater and said, "This is one of my favorite films of all time."
I had to say that I felt so moved that my boyfriend was telling me, he's like, this, if you weren't with me and you were not watching it for the podcast, I would have left. And I said that is at the beginning he told me, and I says that, look, I liked it, but I recognize that the jokes and the humor, it was like really hit or miss. I can understand like how people wouldn't connect at this at all. And then I had to say that is everything, and I told you this, is everything about like this multiverse kind of a story, is that I think that is like a good like vehicle, but it feels like a bit timely, from the perspective like right now is when Marvel has been doing like a bit more of multiverse exploring, and it's like when there started to be like more stories around this.
I haven't seen like the last 15 Marvel movies, so I don't know if this is like stealing from that universe. It felt fresh, original to me, but maybe it's just because I haven't seen whatever Marvel's doing.
Well, but just think for a second, what was the name of this Jet Li movie? The One, was it?
There is a Jet Li movie called The One. I did not see it.
Yeah, so basically it's like the same thing, is that they are like multiple, there is no like family drama, but there is like martial arts, and it's like different versions of Jet Li from different dimensions. They are hunting each other for just being the one that survives.
Well, you can't like hold it against the film that they go into different multiverses. It's not like one film is like, oh, we originally came up with the idea of multiverses.
No, of course not. I don't blame them for that. Let me just go into another of the questions. I don't think that anyone is going to be remember about this movie in 3 years.
I think, I could be wrong, that this is going to be one of the films we've disagreed most strongly on. Which I think is great. This is like the most interesting conversation.
Yeah. Did you watch The Swiss Army Man?
No, I find flatulence jokes just the dumbest things in the world. And I heard that the film was full of it, and I was like, nope.
Yeah, there is like a lot of human, sort of like body human humor.
I don't.
But there is a bit of the same thing, about like a person that reconnects like through a corpse with themselves, and they try to become like a better human being. And it's like a very absurd, very lowbrow kind of humor, and then this kind of feel good, like feeling.
Would you recommend that film to me, because I've always been curious. The reviews have been great. I think it's an interesting role for Daniel Radcliffe, and our listeners can't see you shaking your head emphatically.
No, I wouldn't. I couldn't. And that's the part is that when I actually check what they had done before, it was like, this explains like the backpack jokes and other stuff, and that it also has like this kind of feel good kind of feeling to it. You know, that there is nothing wrong with that. It's just that for me, I just feel is that this is entertainment that right now, you know, it's almost like when you have a really good burger and you are hungry, you are like really hungry, and you think it's like, oh my God, this was like the best burger I ever ate. And maybe it's like a burger from Burger King, you know, but it's that you are
about a Burger King burger.
No, sorry?
Nobody ever thought that about a Burger King burger, but I get the point of what you're saying.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like at this point in time is that you are feeling it's like, wow, this was amazing. It's like it was almost like a Michelin star. Well, not a Michelin star because I'm thinking about like the one in Badness. Is like there is no Michelin star associated with that Burger King in any kind of way, not even in any multiverse out there. So from that perspective, is like I think that time is going to be like putting like movies like this in their place. Actually, the Swiss Army Man, it was like pretty popular, you know, like back then when it was released. No one is really talking about it. I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm just saying that is I feel like it's just like a product of its time.
Well, I would love to put a Google Calendar reminder to talk to you about this in like 5 years.
Yeah, I'm not going to remember it, but you know, definitely, you know, maybe I could remember when I see that this girl was in it, you know. Let me just bring up the name. God, everything, everywhere, all at once.
Right?
Yeah, the daughter.
Stephanie Sue.
Stephanie Sue, yeah. Depending on where her career goes, I think that it may be interesting.
Did you think Jenny Slate was funny, by the way?
Sorry, who?
Jenny Slate is the obnoxious girl with the little furry dog.
The Pomeranian. That was like one of the jokes that is like, God, this is a scary movie level joke. You know, like using the dog as a weapon, you know. But I chuckled for a second when it actually just flew away. It was like, okay. Because they're not even like just hiding. That is like, hey, we are like just using a puppet for this.
I hear what you're saying. I disagree with what you're saying. I think I don't know. I just think this is going to be at the very least a cult classic that will be kept alive by fans like my husband.
Okay, but let's just leave, you know, that every single movie out there is going to have a following. Everything. Absolutely everything, you know. They may be like pretty mediocre. The one?
Let's be cops.
Let's be cops. There may be people out there that they actually appreciate the kind of humor that he has.
I'm going to start a Let's Be Cops subreddit if it doesn't exist. Look at everyone that like that movie.
But maybe they're like some of the followers of the actors, some of the fans of the actors, they may actually like, you know, like how they perform or whatever, you know, whatever. They follow all their movies. On this case, more than actually saying that it's like, hey, someone is going to really love this movie and be a fan of it forever, I want to ask you, why do you think that this movie deserves to have like that following cult compared with other movies?
So it's true that I don't watch a lot of sci-fi. I would argue that this is close to a superhero movie in terms of its like epic scope, like multiverse, the epic bad guy, Michelle going to other universes so she can, you know, get skills and ultimately defeat the bad guy, which we won't go into in detail. But I can't remember anything in this original. I know you don't like The Matrix, the original one, but it reminds me of that. Like, this is something, at least me personally, I haven't seen anything like this. And I thought it was incredibly creative, very well done, funny, and kept like authentic, I hate this phrase, but authentic feels.
Personally, I mean, as someone that has been reading like comics and sci-fi, since I've been like just pretty little. For me, this is nothing, like too special from what they're doing. And as I was telling you, it's like the one was a similar premise, and we have seen like just movies where they have like different realities without like going any further. Was it?
Can you name one that's this inventive?
I mean, I would have to think about it, but I mean, I wasn't. I mean, it was a bit more of a, if you're going to be like just doing something with it. Sure, it actually shows like other kind of potential paths that they can go with their lives. I would have to think, but I'm pretty sure that this is not like the first time that a resource like this is being used.
I would be totally open to like finding a film that explores the general theme or the same sort of like multiverse exploration, whatever. But I nothing comes to mind to me besides The Matrix as a sci-fi film that really like stood out to me as this is fucking creative. Again, I know we disagree about The Matrix. This is how I feel. It's creative and something I've never seen before, and it really pulled at my heartstrings at the end. And I'm not a sucker for feel good, like, oh, let's heal as a family and repair a mother-daughter relationship. I hate that shit. And I didn't mind this. It's not that I didn't mind it. I liked this. I actively liked it. I walked out of the theater and I said, that was a great film. That's what I said to my husband.
Okay, I know that this is just falling a bit into oh god, what was the name of that sci-fi? Oh no, but this actually could give away like part of the twist. No, I mean I was thinking about the Spider-Man movie, Into the Spider-Verse.
That's a really, really good call out. But I didn't feel anything when it comes to that Spider-Man film. It was really inventive, really creative, and I enjoyed it, which it's not the sort of film I typically enjoy.
Yeah.
But it didn't have the impact that this film had.
But I mean, that's the thing, is like there is a bit more use as a... So let's just say that basically this movie could have been about anything else. It doesn't have to be about the multiverse. What I wanted to do is like just using the idea of being alternative realities as a way of Michelle to just connect with what her life would have been if she had taken like different decisions, and then adding like some completely random jokes, like the ratatouille one, or the how do you say, like the hot dogs.
You really didn't like the hot dog fingers.
I mean, the first 3 seconds I felt it's like, okay, but then you said, dude, no. I
had a fondness. The hot dog fingers grossed me out, but I loved that in that storyline she was a lesbian with Jamie Lee Curtis. It was so sweet. It was so sweet.
I mean, it was sweet, but at the same time, it was like, dude, is this fine? But it's like, it's not that they are lesbians. It's that they are like lesbians that they have hot dog fingers.
But they love each other. I don't know. Maybe I'm just turning into a corny piece of shit in my old age.
It's your old age.
Well, I'm officially past half my life expectancy. That makes me old.
Sure. Yeah. No, that's fair. I mean, I had the feeling that is like we may live a bit longer than that. It's like the life expectancy always keeps like this being.
But you walk, you eat relatively healthy. Some of us are only living to about 55.
You're only aiming to that, and you are fine with it. Okay, no, that's fair. That's completely fair. So it's not that I didn't like it per se. It's like I can tell you that when I left, I felt it's like, no, it was good. Like the fighting scenes were enjoyable. This multiverse part is whatever. The acting was like pretty good. But
can I ask, just like, if somebody were to ask you just plainly, were you entertained by it? How would you answer?
I was. My boyfriend wasn't. My boyfriend was like, I just want to be done with this. But I actually put up with it. I had a relative good time, and the last part I thought that is like, this is good. I don't know if it's like exactly like payoff or not, but it's like all your random creative ideas is just a decorator over like what is the core of the story. that is like just the family drama.
But isn't that the case for like every film? Like think about Leviathan. There could have just been a very basic story where they're like, oh, the government's gonna tear down your house. But no, we spent 2.5 hours with those characters and everything they were experiencing in their like journey. That's like, it's a very simple story.
I don't agree, dude. I couldn't disagree more. It's like, no, I couldn't, because just think, it's like, it's a simple story and it's narrated in a simple way. What we're talking about here is a simple story that is a family drama about like just coming together, and it's narrated in a very complex way. That is like, we're going to be adding multiverse and fights and creatures, legendary creatures.
Okay, so would you feel the same about Star Wars? It's just good versus evil. I mean, it's really a basic, boring storyline, but they're like, let's add Jabba the Hutt and Chewbacca, and we'll make it interesting. Oh, and then there's going to be a planet of teddy bears that really has nothing to do with anything.
I think that we're talking about like different things. That's like an adventure movie. The adventure part is what it is. You know, it's good versus evil. You know, but if you go back to the classic like Greek tragedies, is that's like the Odyssey.
But for you, this is not an adventure film?
No, for me, this is like a family drama that they added. That's the reason what I was telling you. Is like this may appeal to some people, but it's actually when you realize about like what are the elements that they are on this movie, they feel is like you're doing like your family drama, your feel good part that you could have recorded, you know, as a comedy, like regularly, like a melodrama.
I hear everything you're saying, and honestly, I really thought, I think we know each other's film taste pretty well, and I thought you would really like this. I mean, I know you didn't hate it, but I thought you were gonna like this.
I honestly, I was torn, because when I was sober, I was like, I actually laughed at a couple of times, you know. There were parts that I was feeling is like, dude, no. Honestly, like the bad plugs part, I felt is that this is not funny. This is like so low bro that it's like at the level of SWAT's Army Man. So it's Army Man.
I have to say, so I absolutely despise Sam Raimi. I think he is the dumbest director working today.
What? Okay.
Because his jokes and his gross outs, it's just like, oh, what can we do? Let's pour bugs in her mouth and gross everyone out. It's like, oh, that takes no intelligence, no thought whatsoever. And I agree. When the butt plug joke showed up the first time and then the second and third time, I'm like, what? Did Sam Raimi do like some edits to the script? Like, this is so... I agree with you. It is lowbrow, certain jokes. It's a little bit crass, but for me, the balance was right.
For me, and I'm giving away all the questions, you know, is that for me, I just think that the script could have been better.
That's fair.
You know, it's like this part, all of this, if you remove like all of these jokes, now the only thing is like, could you actually do like a dramedy, you know, like with half of these elements, you know, and still like just hold its weight? And the answer is like, I'm not sure, and that's the reason what I feel is that this feels like two movies together that for some people is going to be like working amazingly well, and for other people are going to be a bit more is like, I like one part like versus the other was dumb. Is that the ones that maybe they like the bad plug jokes, they are not going to be like connecting with, you know, like the rocks throwing them off the cliff.
I really liked the rock scene.
Oh yeah, there was a scene like, I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to cry because this is super dumb, but I'm not going to cry.
I think even just talking about it, I'm remembering scenes and dialogue that I just really enjoyed. So let's get to the questions. I need to hear your score, man. Like, I need to hear it.
Honestly, I can tell you that after watching the movie, it was like, wow. And then it was a bit more like when it cooled off. Is that if we had watched it yesterday, you know, and we were recording today, I think that my score would have been different. Like with 4 days in between, and I actually just like digesting it a bit more and just thinking a bit about it, is that they just didn't leave like so much aftertaste as I was expecting it to.
Did you feel as deceived by this film as you did by Notes on a Scandal?
No, and that's come on, dude. Is that
I just wanted to like understand?
Yeah, no. It's not the case. It's like on this is a bit more like my reaction. You know, I mean, a bit more about like me picking what I want to get. You know, out of this movie. With not some scandal, and it's a bit more like, hey, when things are settling down, I can actually just not only looking at the highs from my perspective and just looking at the lows, and things when I start seeing like the elements, when everything starts like just becoming a bit more like, not some scandal. They know that, is that they know what they're doing, and they do it like on purpose. They know that it's like there is absolutely nothing here. It's smoke and mirrors, and we're going to be like just fooling you into thinking that there is something else. In this case, it depends if for you everything comes together as a single unit or not.
All right.
Okay. But I'm happy to hear that you guys like enjoying it so much. Everything everywhere.
I actually saw 3 movies in theaters this weekend, and I would rate this as my favorite of the three movies.
Of all movies. Cool. So before we actually go into this, I tend to criticize a bit A24.
Oh yeah, we were gonna have our A24 discussion today.
I could say that this doesn't fall 100% into the criteria, but at the same time, is what I was telling you about. Like, it's pretty clear that people that they're going to be like connecting, and they may actually take this as a single unit. They're going to be younger people, younger than me, and I feel it's like that's millennial territory, and it's like what A24 specializes in.
You feel like this is a movie that is going to have better luck with millennials as the audience?
Yeah, I think so.
What age are millennials at this point? They're like 30?
Late 30s. No, they're not 40. They're late 30s.
Well, my sister turns 40 this year, and she's a millennial.
I'm pretty sure that she would like it.
No, my sister hates fun movies.
Okay.
Right, if you're listening, yes.
Okay. I want to check something before we go into the questions. I want to check. Yeah, Swiss Army Man is from A24. So, okay, just curious about it. Cool. So for the questions, would you watch it again?
Yeah, I would completely. And actually, I'm a little bit afraid that the halo effect I have, like immediately after I see a film, I'm like, that was the best film ever. And then I rewatch it, I'm like, okay, this was not the best film ever. I do have a little bit of fear about that. But yeah, I would definitely watch it again.
I may watch it again. May watch it again, like in some time. Not right now. I don't think that there was anything wrong by it, but I can see myself like getting bored watching it again and rolling my eyes several times. So it's a yes, but future yes, not right now. Would you recommend it?
Yes, I would recommend this basically to anyone that's not extremely prudish, because there are some pretty crass jokes. It's not like super graphic, but like, people fighting with plugs in their ass. So
yeah, so there was sorry?
My grandma would not be into this.
No, probably not. For me, if I would recommend it, I'm going to go with no. Not, but it's like an asterisk kind of no. If someone asks me, it's like, hey, should I go to watch this? I would say, well, yeah, maybe. You like sci-fi and you can put up, like with the family drama. Or if you like dramedies, and family topics, and you can put up with the sci-fi topics about it and the martial arts, maybe, But it's what I was telling, it's like those elements for me, they don't converge. They don't actually like elevate these. They're like just a bit more of this helps selling, So for me, it's like I have like a hard time like figuring out, like from my sci-fi lover friends, if they could love it or not, or maybe they could love it and they would say it's like, yeah, but the last part, it was just super boring.
I have to say, just based on this conversation, it makes me wish that we could poll people, because it's a little bit polarizing for both of us. So I'm curious what other people think. I just looked on Rotten Tomatoes. Do you know what it has?
Like
we looked it up together last week. Yeah, 97.
Yeah.
That's why you picked it over Mass, which has 95.
Yeah, I did that. I mean, now I have to say that I'm like more excited about like just seeing Mass, because it's a bit more of or at least it's what I look about like just face value. I'm like, this is it. Take it or leave it.
No bells and whistles. It's just like,
Nope.
let's watch four people talk for 2
Yep.
hours.
Yeah, and being miserable probably. So I'm going to go with no. Yes, for going with something different. Would you remember it?
There are so many multiverses that I'm gonna like. I forgot the detail about the rock scene where the mother and the daughter are rocks in like this barren landscape. I'm gonna forget the interesting like universes they go to, but overall I'll remember it's the story of a Chinese mother with a stick up her ass who learns to relax and show love to the people around her and finally be proud of herself. Yes.
Yeah, basically is that this is how Michelle Yeoh got her root back.
Hold on.
So you could say yes.
Yeah, yes. I'll remember enough about it. Yes.
I'm going to go with no. You know, I may remember like some aspects, but as I told you, it's like I think that this is a entertaining movie, you know, or trying to be entertaining. I think that is like, if we decided on watching this, I was saying that, well, at least we know that this is going to try to be entertaining. But it succeeded. It has like good pace, whatever. But we also said like the topics that they are describing here, we have seen it in other movies before.
Yep.
And done in a more elaborated way. So is there anything artistic about it?
Yeah. In my opinion, there's a lot. I mean, just the outfits that Michelle's daughter wears.
Oh yeah, that part is great.
Every outfit, every piece of makeup she was in, I thought, whoever imagined this is incredible. I think correct me if you disagree, but I think the imagination that was required to write this script is just remarkable. I think the acting was great. I was very impressed with the daughter, but I think Michelle had a more understated and more demanding role where she had to like make all this not seem completely ridiculous. Acting was fantastic. Visually it was fantastic. It was so imaginative. Yes, the answer is yes.
Okay. No, I mean, I will go with yes. I appreciate, albeit it's like a small budget or relatively small budget movie, that they make the most out of it. I appreciate that there is only like, if you think about like the main cast, there are like 5 people only. The family and Jamie Lee Curtis, basically. But they bring up like all of these, you know, like the acting, and actually tries to display like other versions of themselves and everything. It's like, it's cool. I appreciate like the effort that is put into it as something artistic.
Girlfriend. Don't forget her.
Oh,
She's the other person that speaks in the movie.
Yeah, I feel like that part of it underutilized a bit more. Is like, well, she's lesbian because there has to be some kind of tension here. And this works. Is it a timeless piece?
Yes, I think it is.
Why?
I mean, the themes that they explore, I mean, like, even if it's cliched, and there are reasons there are cliches, right? Like, we examine the same ideas in different ways over and over. They are timeless. It's about a family that's a little bit dysfunctional, a little bit disconnected, and they find ways to grow and heal and come together and overcome obstacles. Like, that to me is timeless. And the multiverse thing, maybe you're right, it's kind of trendy now, but I don't think there's anything that roots it specifically into our time right now that will make it irrelevant in 5, 10, 25 years.
So I struggle a bit to answer like this question for this one. I mentioned earlier that for me this is a bit more of timely, more than timeless, you know, from an aesthetics perspective. You know, as you actually were talking about like the costumes and the likes, is that there is a part of it that it feels like this is what it would be like, yes, a cool or edgy aesthetic in some points, you know. The thematic, you know, like the sci-fi part about like the multiverse, I just feel that this is something that right now is considered like cool. Now, if you go with the part about like the family drama, you know, I just feel that, yeah, that part is like completely timeless, but I even think that all of the timely movies that we have talked about is that they also have like some underlying kind of topic, you know, that is timeless, you know, like some elements.
So I think specifically every time we mention this question, I think about The Lost Boys, which we both agree is timely and not timeless. But if you think about that, it's timely because it is so rooted in 80s pop culture. There's no way you can escape this. There's nothing that's so rooted in the 2020s culture.
Not in the 2020s, but in the last 10 years, like prior to that movie, is like all the homages that they do, like Ratatouille and the likes, is that they come from real life references. That's if you actually see this movie.
Came out in the 80s.
Is it in the 80s? I thought that it was in the 2000s.
Well, now I'm going to be embarrassed because
2000.
Is it? It really is?
2000.
So the trailer on YouTube is just really bad quality.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, it's a movie that it actually is just made to make you feel, because when I watched it, it was like, wow, this has to be like from 81 or 74.
That's what I thought for sure.
Yeah, and then it's like, I remember like just checking this. That's the reason why now when you mention it, it was like just so like, no, I'm pretty sure that this is later than what you think. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong or anything bad, because it's not like the main strand of the movie. The movie is not like a parody movie. It's not like a scary movie, you know. There may be like some parts that I feel is like, dude, this is what a scary movie used to do like 30 years ago, and we were done with it. So you should have stopped.
It does straddle the line between parody and homage. I'll give you that 100%.
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like it's more rooted on right now. You know, like given the theme that it has, well, the sci-fi angle that it has for the story, that I honestly don't think that this movie is going to be like surviving the pass of time too well. I hope that I'm wrong. You know, I may be like completely wrong.
You hope that you're right because you don't think it's an important film. And that's
no. I know that I'm right, but I have to actually just be like humble and just say that I hope that I'm wrong because you liked it.
It doesn't offend me when you have a different opinion than me, except when it comes to Clueless. That I got offended.
I know you did. But no, I'm going to go with no. It's not like a strong no. It's a bit more. It's like there is this feeling about like this is like pretty rooted on right now. You know, there is like just even think about like how the girlfriend dress up. And like the hairstyle that is like that's so in like 2 years ago when you started like writing this script.
That's true. She was a bit of a weak character. I feel like they could have removed the girlfriend altogether and the film would have been fine.
Yeah, no, definitely. But it's a bit more about like this reality of an immigrant family like right now, like first generation, like in here, and that probably is going to be like different in the future. And it's true, it's like it's not like the Lost Boys that is like it is all about aesthetics, you know. Or for example, like the Wii's, like that one, like the kids like playing Nintendo, that is like this is the 80s. This is like 100% the 80s. Or the war games or the likes. It's a bit more like, hey, I think that this is a bit more of this is the 2020s. This is how we are starting this. Not that there is anything bad, because they can be like just good like movies rooted on his time, but watching it in 20 years is not going to be pretty.
We'll see. Hopefully we're still friends.
We're still friends. Not hopefully we're still alive. Hopefully we are still friends. That's what matters.
Yeah, I'll be 57. Nope, I won't be alive.
Would you turn this into a TV show?
I don't think so. I think we spent enough time with the story. For me, the multiverse thing didn't get repetitive or boring, and anymore it would have. So no, let's keep this to a 2-hour and 20-minute movie.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that is a just decent length. I would say that maybe a bit too long, but you know, it's decent length for what it tries to say. Cool. And the last question, do you think this movie could have been better?
I'm gonna say no. I just liked this film. I enjoyed the entire experience. I felt all the emotions. No.
Okay, that's good. For me, yes. As I mentioned earlier, I think like the script could have been a bit better. Like the character of the girlfriend could have been like a bit better. the jokes could have been a bit better, like half of them. The other half, it was like, well, this is like just low bro. I had to just embrace it and just laugh along. We had like some people like behind us that they were like just cracking all the time. And I would say that the cinema was like pretty full. When did this movie open? A week ago.
Just a couple weeks ago. And I did want to comment on this. I've been going back to movies since they reopened, and movie theaters are just empty. They have been for a year and a half, and
This was
one of San Francisco's beloved theaters that's been here forever just closed permanently. And I was so ecstatic that the theater was full. And if these are the types of films that will bring people back to movie theaters after the pandemic, then let's see more of these.
Yeah, no, I mean, definitely I prefer this being like what brings the kids to the table or the keys to the jar than a Marvel movie. This feels a bit more like independent. I think that at the end of the day, it's like they were just looking for the same thing, about like just a bit more of mindless entertainment and action. You know, and they got a family drama and now they grew as human beings. Or not, but who knows? Yeah, I have to say that I was like just pretty impressed that it was pretty full. So yeah. Before we go into scores, do you want to ask if I remember any of the movies?
I sure do. So we've brought up the name Tom Tykwer a few times in this podcast. So let me ask you, what do you remember about the film Heaven from 2010?
For a second, I thought like he's going to be asking about Run Lola Run. It's fine. I know this movie of memory is only 60 minutes. Heaven. God, what is the name of this director? The one of blue, white, and red.
Krzysztof
Kieslowski. So he was doing like this trilogy, no?
Damn, I'm already impressed.
Yeah, so there was going to be like hell, heaven, and purgatory.
Yep.
He started like just writing the script. He didn't shot like any of them, no?
He only wrote part of Heaven.
Part of Heaven, yeah, that was the thing. So Tom Tykwer thought that is like, who better to direct this before doing The Perfume than actually doing like this movie with Cate Blanchett and Phoebe's brother.
Next, he's gonna remake the Decalogue. I can do it better.
So let me just remember. Basically, Cate Blanchett plays a terrorist, and she actually plays a bomb in a governmental building, and she kills a girl, a little girl.
You keep going.
No. This is like almost as far as I can go, because then the only thing that I remember is like then the end about like then just fly away in a helicopter, like about
it just keeps going up.
Whatever, like, oh my god, they're running away. Yeah, like in a very embarrassing
ego plays, because it's a very spiritual, emotional moment.
Yeah, they go to heaven basically.
Yeah, so she plays well, she's her husband died. I can't remember how he died. She was pissed off, so she planted a bomb in the office of people that was responsible. The building was supposed to be empty, but I think she killed a janitor.
Oh, it was a janitor. Okay.
So she gets arrested, but by the Carbonieri. I never remember how to pronounce it.
Oh, yeah.
Giovanni Ribisi is one of the Carbonieri, and he falls in love with her. So they escape together. They shave their heads. They hide out in the country, and because he had military training, they hijack a helicopter and fly into the sky.
Yeah, no, definitely I didn't remember like too much, you know. And the funny thing is that I watched this movie twice, you know. I'm
impressed you remembered about the Kieslowski trilogy, though. That's you gold star for you. Well done.
I don't remember his name ever at all, you know. I would feel like pretty dumb, but yeah, the only thing that I know, I don't remember what I answered on the questions, but I'm pretty sure that would you watch it again? The answer was no.
I will watch. I know it's not a good movie. I know. I don't care. I will watch it. It's got Cate Blanchett. It's got Arvo Part music. It's half written by Kieslowski. It's fine. I'm gonna keep watching it. Just like I'll watch every Sandra Bullock comedy that comes out.
Okay, but when you actually say that it's half written by him, it's almost like just saying like, hey, I will watch AI again because it was like partially written by Kubrick.
But I didn't like the guy.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. So I'm going to go with no, because I only remember the beginning and the end. I have no idea what happened in between or the motivations. And I think that we should score this now, Everything Everywhere All at Once. And as this was your pick, I think that I have to score it first. And my score is going to be a 6.5.
My score is going to be an 8.25, and the only reason is I was going to give it an 8.5, but that feels completely inappropriate after giving 8.5 to The Hours, so it's an 8.25.
Dude, I'm so looking forward. What episode is this going to be? This is going to be like 154. I'm so looking forward to just getting to episode 220 and just asking you, what do you think of this movie?
Maybe I'll pick this movie to rewatch for episode 200.
Gaybros revisits. No, but it was a good conversation. Honestly, for me, it's like when I left the cinema, I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be an 8. Yeah, it's going to be an 8, definitely. And then I kept like thinking a bit more about it, and it's a bit more like the excitement. It's almost like when you have like a sugar rush and then you crash. It's a bit more like, it's not leaving me any kind of additional aftertaste. It's just entertainment and the feel-good story that is great. I like how they did it. I'm not going to go into the details, but it's like the last part is like just really well planned out. The last act, like really, really well planned out.
Also, Jamie Lee Curtis deserves a call out for just being brave enough to take on that role. That's like, seriously, like for a woman of her age to like be willing to do that, and she did a great job.
Yeah, I mean, I really like Jamie Lee Curtis. I think that we tend to just think of her as a not so serious actress, but I don't think that the age difference is like too different between Michelle Yeoh and her.
She was so good in Alien.
Oh, 4 years. 4 years different. Wait, what?
She was so good in Alien.
Who?
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Alien? Like the first one?
It was a joke.
Okay. Yeah, no, that was Kate Blanchett. But yeah, no, it was an interesting experience. As I was saying earlier, it's like I have like a hard time recommending it. I'm not saying that it's bad, because otherwise it would be like just below 6. That's for sure. It's just that the aftertaste, it was like a bit more like it evaporated. It didn't actually just like, when it starts snowing and it's like, oh, the snow is disappearing after touching the ground. When you look up, it looks amazing, but it's like it's not piling up.
All right. This has to be one of the biggest spreads in our scores.
No, I don't think so, dude. It's of the recent ones. Benedetta was a big spread, but Mix Cutoff was like the largest one, recent one.
Well, you just can't understand that because you're not American.
That's fair. I don't have like the intellect or the sensibility that an American would have.
No, you do have the intellect. You just don't have American sensibilities, and that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Okay, that's fair.
Politics aren't great all the time.
Yeah, I think that the other biggest spread, and I'm surprised because usually you give like higher score when there is like a bigger spread, but the other way around, it was A Woman Under the Influence.
I don't remember even the title of that film.
I do, because from time to time I love to use Under the Influence as an expression, and I always think about this movie. It was like Cassavetes, yeah.
I remember.
Yeah, now you do. There's a Storm and others, yeah. Come so for next week, as is my pick, I wanted to go back to one of our favorite directors, that is David Lynch, and they have in a local cinema that they usually have like pretty good cinema there. They are going to be like doing a retrospective of David Lynch, and one of the first movies that they're going to be playing is Eraserhead. And I never finished watching it, so I just realized after so many movies that we have watched from David Lynch and even the whole Twin Peaks that we should definitely watch Eraserhead.
And I've seen this film, I think, one time, and I'm pretty sure it was circa 2006. So it's been 16 years for me too. I'm really looking forward to rewatching this.
No, man. So looking forward to it. Anything else to say about Everything Everywhere All at Once?
This is a better film than Jose thinks. That's it.
Sure, we all have our opinions. And anything else to say to the audience?
Wash your hands just because it's hygienic.
That's good. That's a good message. Okay, folks. Bye.